What's back there?
It's a private room, sir. It's not open tonight.
But I just saw somebody go in there. Mulhaven's friend, the German.
That's a good one. What is he, a spy?
Is there something back there a spy would want?
I've been watching this door all night. There ain't nobody in there.
He went through when you were talking to Mulhaven over there.
Are you saying I haven't been doing my job?
I'm sure you've been doing a fine job watching the door. I haven't seen it go anywhere all night. There is a man back there, and I've got to get him. Now, am I going to have to...
To what? If you don't beat it, mister, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll toss you out in your can. Don't give me any more lip, mister, or else.
What did Winslow mean when he mentioned Mr. Penske's fate?
That arrogant... He's got a lot of nerve coming in here telling me how to do my job. Well, never mind about Winslow. One day he'll find out that what goes around comes around. It's Walt you wanted to know about.
Yes, sir.
Walt stepped on some toes, and when his behavior became a little overzealous, the FBI called in some favors, and poor Walt was put up before the board. They declared that he was suffering from nervous exhaustion. They packed him off to a sanitarium.
If I could, sir, I'd like to see Mr. Penske's case files. I believe there's a connection between this case of mine and the matter he was investigating.
It troubles me to hear you say that, Mr. Pearson. Walt was asked to step down from a case that had no bearing whatsoever on our national security. He countermanded direct orders by refusing to do so, and all on account of a bunch of superstitious nonsense. What possible connection could there be between his mumbo-jumbo and your investigation?
I know it sounds like a lot of nonsense to us, sir, but I think this Brotherhood of Thule believes in it. They've organized themselves around it, in fact.
Point well taken. Unfortunately, I don't have the Penske files. The FBI confiscated them, claimed that Walt overstepped COI bounds and interfered in their jurisdiction. Hoover's men won that round, I'm afraid. Perhaps if you were to ask Mr. Winslow, he could make them available.
Do we have any information on a man named Mulhaven?
Mulhaven? What's he got to do with this mess?
That's what I'm trying to uncover, sir.
Well, there's not an awful lot I can tell you. He's an industrialist from Chicago. He has a few contracts with the War Department. I believe he has some political aspirations. Apart from that, I know very little about the man.
Are you aware of any German nationals in town?
Well, actually, there is one. A man named Wilhelm von Hess. Our men in Washington have had their eyes on him for a long time now. We've no idea what he's doing in Cleveland. But we're sure as hell he's not in town for the Great Lakes Expo, as he claims.
Why don't we just ship him back where he belongs?
Now, there's the rub. He's here on a diplomatic mission. Even though our men have long suspected him of spying, we can't deport him without concrete proof, without risking an international incident. And relations between our country and Germany are touchy enough as it is.
Well, I think the man that I shot could be connected to von Hess. Von Hess may even be responsible for Fisher's death, although Detective Merillo doesn't seem to think so. You might be able to pin enough on him there to get him shipped off.
If we can make the connection stick, you can be sure that's the first thing we'll do.
Do you have any guesses as to where this might have been taken?
Looks like your man was caught in a rather compromising position. There's only one place that a businessman of Mulhaven's stature would go to, a place called Flanagan's on the east side. How'd you come across that photo?
Von Hess has been using it to blackmail Mulhaven.
Can you prove that?
I believe so, sir.
Wonderful. That is just what we need to have von Hess packed off.
Mr. Sullivan, if you could, I'd like you to hold off on that for now. At least until I can find out why von Hess is blackmailing Mulhaven.
Very well, Mr. Pearson. This is your investigation. I'll leave it to your discretion.
Thank you, sir. What the hell? These runes look like the ones I found in the bag. I wish I knew what Penske had been on to. Maybe his case has more to do with mine than I thought.
Was wollen Sie? Was wollen Sie? Was wollen Sie?
Jim, are you all right?
Yeah, I just keep having these weird nightmares, that's all. I'm okay, I'm fine. Thanks.
First he ruins my stakeout at McGinty's, and now we've got 2 dead men on our hands. Your boy's too green.
Pearson is more than capable of fielding this investigation.
Oh? And why wasn't my office notified?
This complaint falls under COI jurisdiction. This is Pearson's case, and he had every right to be there.
That's what you said about Penske. And you know what happened to Wally. He couldn't cut it, so the FBI...
Don't you bring Walt...
Jimbo! How you doing, sport? We'll finish this conversation later.
Sorry if I got you in a tight spot, sir.
Never you mind about that, son. I'm more than capable of handling that grandstander.
Hotel Cleveland, how may I help you?
Jones? Oh, this is Mr. Mulhaven.
Oh, sir, I hadn't seen you come in. Are you feeling all right? You don't sound like yourself.
Never mind how I sound. Where's my blasted newspaper?
It hasn't been delivered.
No, it hasn't. What's the matter with you people?
I'm sorry, sir. I'll have it sent up straight away. Mr. Mulhaven needs a paper delivered to his suite. Weren't you to deliver it earlier?
Oh, I did.
Well, he didn't receive it. Now hop to it.
delivered the paper. Lousy paper. 23.
23.
Mr. Mulhaven! Your paper, sir! Mr. Mulhaven! Lousy cheapskate can't spare a nickel tip.
Hello, Johnny. Rough day.
You said it, Mrs. Graham.
Maid service. You said you wouldn't disturb anything.
Hans. And we shot, my dear.
You said you'd hurry right in and right out. I'll lose my job if anyone finds me here.
Well, well. If it isn't Mr. Mulehaven and his esteemed guest.
You must be James Pearson of the COI. Joseph's told me all about your little visit.
I've got enough to pin on you to send you back to Germany.
Joseph, I wonder if you wouldn't be so kind as to allow Mr. Pearson and myself to chat privately.
All right, listen, mister. I know what you're up to, and I don't like it.
My dear Mr. Pearson, you have no idea at all what I am up to. You are, how do you say it, in over your head.
Well, now, the way I see it is that you're the one who's in over your head. Now, maybe if you had some of your thugs here to back you up, things would be a little different. But right now, I'm the one holding all the cards.
We've somehow managed to get off on the wrong foot. For that, I am sorry. We are not so different, you and I, as you might think.
I am nothing like you.
Perhaps. But we are both after the same thing, no? I merely seek to return to my homeland what is rightfully ours. I prefer to do so as diplomatically as possible, without conflict. The incident at the loft was a terrible mistake. We were merely after the lackey's key.
A key? What key?
It looks much like an iron cross, does it not? It is a symbol of military honor in my country.
Jimbo!
Well, it looks like I can add interfering with a federal investigation to the list of charges. I think it's about time you and I left quietly.
I have no intention of doing any such thing.
Let's not cause a scene.
Oh, well, you're moving up in the world, sport. I never thought to see you in such a ritzy place as this. Have you met Elliot Ness?
No, but...
No buts about it, then. You simply have to meet him. I'm sure you'd like to meet the ladies, too, huh? Young bachelor like you ought to knock 'em dead. This is my jurisdiction. It's a federal offense.
It happened in city lines, you federal son of a bitch!
Why, you provincial little... Elliot, help me out here.
This isn't the place for this. Meet me in my office in an hour.
Well, Jimbo! Well, what brings you here, sport?
I was hoping you could give me a little information.
Well, sure, anything to help a fellow agent. Yeah, run along, Candy darling. Say, I hope you're not still sore at me for this morning. I think you're doing a fine job. We still friends?
Yeah, sure, Dick. We're still friends.
Great, just great. Say, can I get you anything? A smoke, perhaps?
No, thanks. I don't really like to smoke.
Oh, but have you ever tried one of these? They're imported straight from Turkey. Finest cigarettes I've ever tasted. Oh. Jimbo, how long you been out here, sport?
Not very long. I just got here.
You, didn't by any chance hear anything, did you?
No, I didn't hear a thing.
Good, good. Say, I am a little busy now.
That's okay. I'll come back later.
That's awful swell of you, sport.
Have you fellas identified the man I shot?
Well, we're still working on that. My best guess is that he was working for the mob.
Even though he was carrying an SS-issue gun?
Yes, well, we did put an inquiry in with the German consulate. They disavowed all knowledge of him.
That's to be expected, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so. But Louis did have ties to the mob. It stands to reason that his past might finally catch up to him.
Louis hadn't worked for the mob for years, but he was working as a messenger for this German Brotherhood.
Oh, really? And what brotherhood would that be?
An outfit that calls itself the Brotherhood of Thule. That's what I've been investigating.
You don't say. Well, my years of experience with the Bureau tell me that this was a mob hit. But if you really think that there's something to this Brotherhood thing...
I do.
Well, then Dick Winslow's not the type of man to leave any stone unturned. I'll make sure someone looks into it.
Does the Bureau have any information on a man named Mulhaven?
Why do you need to know?
I think he might be in a fix with some Nazis.
Look, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but we've had our eyes on him for some time now. Joseph Mulhaven is the type of man who'll play both sides of the fence until he's certain which side will come out ahead. For the past year, he's been campaigning tirelessly in Chicago on isolationist grounds, but his companies have been secretly gearing up for the war effort. Well, he stands to clean up if America joins the war in Europe.
Would playing both sides of the fence include making deals with the Nazis?
It wouldn't be out of the question. But for all of Mulhaven's sins, he doesn't seem like someone who'd be very likely to sell out to the Nazis. Quite frankly, I don't think he has a stomach for espionage.
Do your men know of any German nationals in town?
No, aren't Germans more up your alley, sport? We've got nothing to do with that sort of thing anymore.
All the same.
Well, just between you and me. There is a German diplomat in town by the name of von Hess.
What's his story?
Oh, he's a career politician for the German government. My superiors in Washington suspect him of spying, but really, if he were, what would he be doing in Cleveland?
I understand the Bureau has Mr. Penske's case files.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have them right here in my safe. Why do you ask?
I'd like to get a look at them.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry, Jimbo. I can't open them up without a direct order from my superiors. It's completely out of my hands, I'm afraid. Now, if it were up to me, I'd hand them right over to you.
There's no way I can get a look at them?
If it were only up to me. Oh, there's nothing in there anyway, sport, really, just a lot of nonsense. He went completely batty there at the end. Not a lot of time to talk right now, sport. Could you come back round again later?
Sure thing, Dick.
Whoa, leaving so soon? Come have a drink with us.
Look, some other time, Dick.
Oh, nonsense, nonsense. Come sit down with us. Elliot, I want you to meet Jim Pearson. Now, he's the young fella I've been talking about. The man who's going to give the COI some legs to stand on.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Jim.
Likewise, Mr. Ness.
Please, call me Elliot.
Oh, no, you can't leave without saying hello to the ladies now, Jimbo. What would they think?
Hello.
Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm sorry. I've got to run.
Don't be silly, Jimbo. You just got here.
I'll be sure to stop back later then.
He's a bit of a strange bird, that fella.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anyone named Mulehaven staying here?
That's Mulhaven, sir, and yes, I should think that the gentleman is staying here.
You seem pretty certain of that.
But of course, sir, Mr. Mulhaven is merely one of our best guests. One moment, sir. Front desk. How are you this evening, Mrs. Hathaway? Yes, of course, I'll have that delivered straight away.
Yes, sir.
Please deliver a newspaper to Mrs. Hathaway in 7B. And for God's sake, man, button that uniform.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
May I be of further assistance, sir? Sir, this is for guests only.
Is Mr. Mulhaven in now?
He is checked in now, if that's what you mean, sir. I believe, however, that he is not presently in his room.
So tell me about this Mulhaven fella. He seems to be a big shot around here.
Mr. Mulhaven is an esteemed guest here, sir. He maintains his own suite.
He lives here?
No, sir, but he travels on business from Chicago frequently. He keeps the same suite reserved.
What room is Mr. Mulhaven staying in?
I'm afraid I can't divulge that information.
And listen, friend, I'm a federal operative on an official investigation. Now, are you going to tell me his room number, or am I going to have to take you up on charges?
Charges, sir? What charges?
Obstruction of justice, for starters.
Very well, then. Charge me with obstruction of justice if you must. I refuse to violate the trust of the management and the guests of the Hotel Cleveland. Make no mistake, however. I shall certainly complain to both my superiors and yours about your strong-arm tactics.
Why, I ought to take you in. Forget it. Come on. Be a pal. I just need to have a talk with the guy.
Sir, either you take me for a fool or a gossip. I am neither. Now be off with you. I won't have another word of it. May I help you, sir?
No, thanks.
First, you melt the wax on the paper. Then, you press the seal into the wax. And voila, there's your sealed invitation.
Thanks, Helen. I better hurry if I'm going to make it to that party on time.
Hurry, Jim, or we'll be caught.
Stay here, Donald. Now what do you want, Pearson? What? I told you everything. You can't get blood from a stone.
I guess that's it. I'll let you get back to, business. I want to know why Von Hess is blackmailing you. What's he after?
He wants to get into the Raven Room. There's a party.
Party? You're gonna have to do better than that.
I swear, it's true.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. A German diplomat blackmails an important American industrialist, not for state secrets, not for money or political votes, but to get into a party?
It's true, I swear it. I don't know why he wants to get in, but he does.
You must have some idea.
He's looking for something. He says it was stolen and smuggled out of Germany. I have no idea what it is. I swear it.
What can you tell me about this Raven Room?
It's just a social club, like any other. It's popular. Exclusive.
You're not giving me very much. Maybe you'll be a little bit more cooperative if I toss you in jail for collaborating with a German spy.
Okay. Okay. On the whole, that's all it is. But there's an inner circle. First, I thought it was just a means of celebrating our heritage.
You mean German heritage, right?
Yes, our German heritage. Despite Hitler, there's no shame in that.
All right, so what about this inner circle? What are they up to?
Well, as I say, first I thought it was merely a means to celebrate our heritage. The ceremonial robes and secret greetings were all kind of hokey, but I could make some important business contacts and meet some very influential people. People who could help me should I decide to run for office. Seemed harmless enough. Then they took this too far. They're bent on restoring an order. An old order of knights. I was gonna leave the club, but...
But?
You have the reason there in your hand. Von Hess won't let me out.
I want to get into this party.
It's too late for that.
Don't try to put one past me.
The invitations don't go to just anyone. They're prepared very painstakingly in advance. First, you need a copy of the invitation itself. Then, it must be signed by the scribe. Finally, it must be sealed with the crest of the order. Even if I could get you the rest of it, I can't get you the seal.
All right. Here's an invitation. And judging from the stuff you've got in your room, you're the scribe.
How did you get this?
Don't worry about it. Just sign it.
Very well. Won't do you any good without the seal.
Dick? Sounds like he's busy right now. I can't believe his combinations of football score. Why, I bet he didn't even let her.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the gala premiere of The Raven Room. We hope you've been enjoying the festivities so far this evening.
What's going on here? Huh? Break the door down. Open the door.
Get in there, dude.
Will you open the door?
Let's go for it. Come on.
Come on, fellas.
What are you doing back here?
What's going on here?
We caught this guy trespassed.
Call for a squad car.
Oh, shouldn't the Bureau handle this?
We'll sort it all out later. Call for a squad car. All right, give us some room here. Let's go, people. This is official business. Come on, let's go.
Just like a Fed. Asleep on the job.
I just had the strangest dream.
Yeah, that's real sweet, kid. Now, if I can tear you away from the sugar plum fairies, I got a few more questions I want to ask you about Fisher's murder.
Sure, Detective, but didn't we already cover all this at the station house?
Things have changed. We found the rest of Louis scattered around Lake Erie this morning.
Oh, I see. What's on your mind?
Let's start with why the torso killer is delivering to you like he's your goddamn milkman. You remember anything else? Be sure to tell me. Okay, Hotshot?
Of course, Detective. I don't know what the torso killer had to do with this. You should be looking into the gunman from the warehouse. Have you identified him yet?
Kid, I'm telling you, that box was no accident. The torso killer was sending you a message. I want to know why.
My case doesn't have anything to do with the torso killer. I was investigating an outfit that calls itself the Brotherhood of Thule. They're a fascist organization who may have some connection to the Nazis.
What the hell do they have to do with this?
You still haven't answered my question yet. Have you identified the gunman?
Oh, the FBI's handling that. Looks like you'll have to talk to Winslow. Maybe you'd rather talk to him anyway. Eh?
I'm not trying to be uncooperative, Detective. I've got my own case to consider. I've got to get at the facts if I'm going to make any sense out of it, and the more that I know about this gunman, the closer both you and I will be to finding out who killed Louis.
All right, kid. One last question before I go. Any idea why Louis had the word Nazi carved in his chest? Huh?
He what?
You heard me.
I don't know. That just doesn't add up. If Louis was working for the Nazis, but he was killed by them to keep him from talking...
Louis was done in by the torso killer. There's no question about that. The only question is why the torso killer wanted off Louis. You get at the facts of that, kid, and we'll be a lot closer to finding out who killed him.
I'm not sure who they are exactly, but Louis worked for them. They're into some pretty strange stuff.
What sort of stuff?
Norse gods, pagan knights, that sort of thing.
And you think they done Louis in, huh?
I'm sure of it.
Well, what else do you know about this here brotherhood?
Not very much. They got to Louis before I could uncover any real hard facts.
Well, I got a real hard fact for you. Louis was done in by the torso killer.
I don't know anything about the torso killer, Detective. I was supposed to meet Fisher at this warehouse. He was gonna talk to me about this Brotherhood of Thule I've been investigating. Someone obviously got to him before I could.
Not someone, kid. The torso killer. This thing has his handiwork written all over it.
We've already covered this, Detective. It just doesn't add up. Fisher had to have been killed by this pro-German society to keep him from talking to me.
All right. Suppose Louis was some kind of pro-Nazi sympathizer. But if this here brotherhood offed him, like you said, to keep him from squealing, why would they do anything to connect them to him?
They wouldn't, but they might want to cover it up by making Fisher look like just another victim of the torso killer.
Maybe. But get this. Louis had the word Nazi carved in his chest. Whoever did this wasn't trying to cover up Louis' connection to some Nazi-loving bunch of weirdos. The person what did this hated Nazis. I think they were sending a warning to this here brotherhood of yours.
I didn't know that. Now this really muddles things up. If I learn anything else, Detective, I'll be sure to let you know.
All right, kid. What do you know about the stiff in the abandoned factory? How does he play into all of this?
That really falls under COI jurisdiction, Detective.
Oh, come on. You're just gonna clam up. Yeah, okay. If that's the way you want to play it, kid. I just hope the hell you know what you're doing.
I'd never seen him before, but I'm pretty certain he was a German operative.
What gives you that idea?
The SSSU gun he was using to try to put holes in me. Has he been identified yet?
Don't ask me, kid. The FBI's handling that. Looks like you'll have to visit our pal Winslow for that information.
I still say that if you want to find Fisher's killer, you should find out who the dead crowd's friends are.
I don't buy that. They already got to Louis at that point. Why come back to his hideout and start poking around some more?
Maybe he had something they wanted.
Could be. It's about as good an explanation as we're going to get at this point, I guess.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pearson.
Jimbo, what brings you here, sport?
How's it going, Dick?
Aces, Jimbo. Just aces.
Helen was getting antsy. She couldn't put off the guard all night long. I had to solve the puzzle of the seal, and I had to do it fast.
Feels so good.
I've reason to believe that you were working on something that's all mixed up in my own investigations. Can you tell me what it was you were working on?
Huh. That's what got me into this pickle in the first place. Do you believe in the supernatural, son? In spirits of darkness and forces beyond man's control?
No, sir, I don't. It all seems like a bunch of stuff out of pulp magazines and radio shows.
I didn't believe in him much either. Everyone thinks I went crazy. But I've seen things. Strange things. And if your case is at all tied up in this mess that I was investigating, you better be prepared.
Yes, sir.
You don't believe me. Someday you will.
I found these in your office, sir. Professor Strauss's daughter helped to explain them a little bit. And I've also found some similar markings on some papers belonging to a group that goes by the name of the Brotherhood of Thule. But I can't make heads or tails out of it.
You ever hear about a gem called the Black Dahlia?
Just from the reports in your case file, sir.
The Dahlia. That's what it's all about, my boy. That's what it's all about.
Well, what is this Dahlia?
It's pure evil. It's what it is. It feeds on blood sacrifice. Many men have tried to uncover its secrets and gain its power, and many men have been driven mad by it. You find the Dahlia. Destroy it. That's the only thing that will make sense of this for you.
I'm not sure why, sir, but my instincts are telling me that the Torso Killer's mixed up in all of this somehow.
Well, you follow your gut, son. The Torso Killer's at the center of all this madness.
But how?
How many victims has he claimed?
8. At least that's all we know of.
Oh, you must find him quickly then. His bloody work requires a sacrifice of 9 men and women. If the prophecy of the ritual is true.
But how can I find him? The police have been working on this case already for months, and they're still no closer to tracking him down. Do you know who he is?
Oh, I don't know who the killer is. But I was getting close, I'll tell you. That's why I was put in here. I was getting too close. Why, if they hadn't locked me away, I would have had that man by now. Lousy bureaucrats. The doctors and nurses here aren't any better. They feed me pills all day when I could be out doing a job. But they don't give a rat's ass about a good day's work. All they want is government money. FDR giving handouts to everybody, sticks a palm in the air. I wondered when you were going to stop by. Doc. It's been a while since I've been poked and prodded. You know, I feel like a slice of prime beef. You know that? So what time is it? Seems like you were just here. So what you got for me now, Doc, huh?
What? No!
Maybe
Watch
more
out!
pills. Oh, maybe a shot in the ass.
No! Mr. Pensky! No!
What's with you? What's happened?
It's the strangest thing. I keep having these weird, no, it's nothing. It's...
The man with the cane.
How did you know?
I've seen him in my dreams as well.
In your investigation, sir, did your evidence ever direct you to a place called the Raven Room?
No, nothing solid. More suspicion than anything else.
What did you suspect?
Well, that the nightclub was a front for something far more sinister. I mean, it wasn't long after I started putting my nose into their business that I was sent away here. There's some powerful people behind that club. If you're investigating them, you better watch your step.
Do you have any idea why a kraut named Von Hess would be so eager to get into the Raven Room? He's been putting the squeeze on a Thule member pretty bad to get an invitation to this party of theirs.
You must go there.
What for?
The Nazis have been in pursuit of the Dahlia for some time now. If Hitler were to get his hands on the gem, I mean, who knows what kind of suffering the world would see.
There's only one problem. The party's by invitation only. And all the invitations have this seal from this old order of knights.
The followers of Landau.
Yes, that's right. The invitation's no good without the seal.
I've seen documents on display at the Museum of Natural History with that very same seal. I'll bet Miss Strauss would be willing to help you out.
All right. If I can't wrangle an invitation out of someone, I'll make my own. You were troubled by dreams too?
Yes. My dreams were violated by an evil man. He wielded a cane, and he drove me to the brink of insanity.
But how's this possible?
He who controls the Dahlia has the power to control dreams. But, I found a way of stopping them.
How?
There are 3 talisman. Sheltered by the wing of the raven, protected by the fangs of the wolf, and guided by the wisdom of the dragon. The raven feather shelters you from dreams, but if you had the other 2 items, you could fight back against your attacker.
This is too much. It's like something out of the shadow.
It's your only hope.
All right. Where can I find these things?
You'll find the raven feather in my office. Inside my copy of the Crusades. But you'll need all 3 talisman if you wish to confront your tormentor. The others will be more difficult to obtain. You'll need to get close to your attacker for those. Look for the totems of the wolf and the dragon. Return here with all 3, and I'll show you how to fight back against your attacker.
A load of hooey. All right, I'll be back as soon as I can get my hands on the hoodoo trinkets.
I can't help you until you've found all 3 talisman.